Welcome to a tutorial video on Bitsy. In this video I'm going to cover advanced dialog options, including conditional statements, lists using shuffle, and an example of using text effects. In the example here, let's play this game called Demo 1. Using the arrow keys or WASD, I can move the existing avatar around. To start, I'm going to come over to this sprite and get the instructions, find my teacups. So pressing any key to close that dialog, I can start to move around. Now I notice four other objects within this room. Three of which look like teacups, and a fourth which looks like a cat. So I'm going to interact with the cat first. And the cat says meow. And I interact with the cat again, meow. And a third time, meow. Oh, and it didn't like a fourth time, it hissed at us. What about a fifth? Meow. So a bunch of different things. But I was told the instructions, find my teacups. So let's approach this item. We found tea. Well, that's good. What does this person say now? I found one of them, didn't I? Oh, I found one cup of tea. Well, that's very good. What if I find a second one? Okay, I found tea. That's good. What does this person say? Okay, they're updating us. Found 2 cups of tea. And approaching this last one, I found tea. And finally, I found all 3 cups of tea. That's very good. So I'm now going to stop this game. So over here in the dialog, we see for the item named tea, you found the tea. Well, that's not particularly exciting. But let's click on inventory here, and we see the item T starts with the value 0 initially. Now within Bitsy, every time an item is interacted with, its value is increased by 1. So we started at 0, and then for each item interacted with, in this case item T was interacted with multiple times, its value increased from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3. So that's valuable information to know, because when we move over to Sprite and we select Sprite B, we notice its dialog is pretty advanced. And we could deal with it within this code view here. But Bitsy has an additional Advanced Dialog Editor. The little pop-out window here, option, clicking on that, shows us what I've set up here. That is a conditional dialog block for the dialog of Sprite B. Within this conditional, produced by going to New Section and then Conditional, I see 3 different conditionals as well as a default saying here. The first says when item T is equal to 1, that is, it has been interacted with a first time from 0 to 1, we found 1 cup of tea. Well, we saw that. For the second, when item T is equal to 2, that is 2 interactions, we found 2 cups of tea. When item T is equal to 3, that is 3 interactions, we found all 3 cups of tea, which is the result that we saw. For each new interaction, the item T was increased by 1, from 0 to 1, from 1 to 2, and then from 2 to 3. The default we saw, which when we hadn't interacted with any of the tea items, was find my teacups. And in fact, with inventory open, we can see that in real time. So let's replay that to see that interaction. We see T is equal to 0, so that's the default dialog reaction within the conditional block. Find my teacups, default. We can see the first interaction, T was then increased to 1 right here within inventory in real time. And then we can see the reaction, you found 1 cup of tea, which is the conditional line when item T is equal to 1. You found 1 cup of tea. And we can see it increase each time within inventory. T is now 2, and now T is now 3, resulting in the conditional dialog statement, you found all 3 cups of tea, which we see over here on the left-hand side within the dialog window. For the conditional, when item T is equal to 3. That is 3 interactions. You found all 3 cups of tea. Well, okay, that covers an example here of using conditional dialogue. We can set up conditional statements and then act on them, adding options each time. So in this case, I added multiple options. The first one when the item T is equal to 1. The second one when item T is equal to 2. The third one when item T is equal to 3. And then a fourth default option in case no other interactions had happened, find my teacups. Well, we also saw, stopping this game for a second, we also saw interactions with the cat sprite. So, over here in Paint, then Sprite, then rotating to Sprite A, we see additional content within the dialog window. Notice over here on the far left, the dialog window updated, and so now we're using a list. A list, like in conditional, can have multiple entries. In this case, I've set the list to a shuffle order. So right here with an order, for the dropdown, I selected shuffle. So say lines in random order. And I listed different lines here. Meow, meow, row, and then our last one, hiss. Where our hiss actually had a text effect. We can produce that by highlighting the text we want, going over to text effects, and which that gives us the choice of different effects. We can choose colors, make it wavy, make it shaky, or give a rainbow effect. For this, I chose wavy. So our hiss was wavy. And now our row is also wavy. And that's a text effect we can apply to text within the Advanced Dialog Text Editor. Coming back to New Section, we see we can add different things. Now, what if we just wanted the default? Well, the default is just a dialog box. And we see here dialog, in which case we can place text, and it would then be shown to us, the player, when we played. Notice if we add additional things, there are arrows saying that at first it will run one of these from this shuffle block, then it would run a default after that. So if I put in row, W, we can then see that in practice. So let's play that example. Coming over here, playing, coming down to the cat to interact or approach it, we see meow, that was an example from the shuffle block, and then meow meow, the dialogue from the second block, in order. So we can actually chain multiple dialogue conditional lists or dialogue blocks within an entire dialogue interaction, producing multiple things based on the value of items or the value of variables not covered in this video, as well as additional dialogue sections and lines and sections that are chained together. So in this case, meow, meow, meow. Or if we interacted with again, row, notice now wavy with the text effect, meow, meow, chaining those together in order from the list of shuffled to, again, the dialogue block underneath that. We can stop this. So in this video, we've reviewed different advanced dialogue options as part of the Advanced Dialog Editor. At any point, these can be opened by clicking the pop-out Open in Advanced Dialog Editor for the dialogue of a sprite or an item. Although in this video we only covered dialogue for sprites, although this would also work just as well for items. Again, clicking that pop-out opens the dialog window. The dialog window can also be opened from Tools at the top and then Dialog. Depending on what is selected, in this case Sprite A, we can see its dialog in Edit. In this case we had a first list that then shuffled those lines, and then a dialog block underneath that. Moving over to Sprite B, we see a conditional here of different lines when item T is equal to different things, as well as a default reaction right here for a reaction to different things, if we had not any other existing conditional reactions here. Thanks for watching.